When the holidays start to feel a bit repetitive, reach for a Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry and put your twist on tradition. A bold cranberry and winter spice flavor fusion, Sprite Winter Spiced Cranberry is a refreshing way to shake things up this sipping season. And only for a limited time. Sprite. Obey your thirst.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. You're ready to move your business forward, but first, you need to find the right team. Start your search with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. It can help you reach qualified candidates fast, ensuring your listing is the first one they see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs are 90% more likely to report a hire than non-sponsored jobs. See the results for yourself. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to the Daily MBA, where business wisdom is served fresh and fast, straight from one of the top MBA programs in the world. I'll give you summaries of my lectures and readings, as well as the most important insights gained from an MBA, so you can apply all of this knowledge in every business. Let's get started. On today's episode, we're going to leave the math part behind from our value investing methodology, and we're going to focus on competitive advantages, or as Warren Buffett calls them, the moats. Because as value investors, our primary objective is going to be to find a gap between the financial performance implied by the asset price and the superior results that will be ultimately revealed. And a key component of uncovering this gap is understanding a company's ability to not just create value, but create excess value and sustained over a long period of time. So a company can have a fantastic ROIC for a year or two, but what truly matters is if it can maintain those superior returns far into the future. And this is where economic moats come in. So if we think of an economic moat, what it actually is, according to Warren Buffett, is a business that has sustainable competitive advantages. And this name came from the medieval castle that was surrounded by a deep, wide moat, because if you have a moat filled with alligators and piranhas and teaming all of this unseen defenses to fend all of competition, this castle is going to be strong for many years. And that's why economic moats are not just buzzwords, they're structural or developed business attributes that will help a company generate persistently high returns on capital for an extended period of time. And they are also going to be like barriers that protect a company's profitability from competitive attacks. Buffett also sometimes offers crucial insight about these moats because he says that they are rarely stable. They are either widening or narrowing daily due to the relentless forces of competition and innovation, so this is not going to be a static condition. It's going to be dynamic. It's a constant struggle to maintain this superiority. But so why do moats matter? And you would be thinking like investing is a lot about math, but I'm not leaving all of this moats part at the end because I think it's less important. On the contrary, I think it's way more important, but people aren't paying as much attention to this. And if I was the one doing the analysis, I would usually start with the moat and then I would do the math part because moats are going to be the ones that ensure the sustainable value creation. And the sustainable value creation is usually going to have two different dimensions: magnitude and longevity. Magnitude is going to be the level of returns a company generates in excess of its cost of capital. A higher ROIC is certainly better, of course. But then the second crucial dimension is going to be the longevity or sustainability. And this one is perhaps a little bit more overlooked, yet equally vital, because it refers to how long a company can maintain those returns significantly above its cost of capital. This duration is often going to be referred to as the competitive advantage period, or abbreviated as CAP. So while the absolute level of returns is important, the duration of excess returns, or the CAP, is often underestimated despite its important significance. Remember from our last episode, I was saying that growth only creates values when a company generates returns on investment that exceeds the cost of capital. Therefore, a strong, wide, and sustainable competitive advantage will directly lead to a larger and more sustainable ROIC over time. Growth for a business with a weak or no moat is often going to be value destructive growth, requiring more capital that doesn't earn its keep. According to Morningstar, there are going to be 5 different sources of moats that you could consider. The first one is going to be network effects, and this is going to occur when the value of a good service increases for both new and existing users as more people use it. Think of it as a virtuous cycle. The more users, the more valuable the product, which in turn attracts even more users. In this type of network effects, the winner will take the most outcome, making the dominant network switching costs for customers rise as it grows. And one of the best examples over here would be Meta, because Facebook started, and the more friends you had, the more valuable this platform became to you. You were connected to all of these people, but similarly, for all of the people that are putting ads, it's also more valuable. Other great examples are Visa or MasterCard, because the more merchants accept their cards, the more useful they're going to be for cardholders and vice versa. So, network effects are going to be an important source of moats. The second important source is going to be cost advantage. And so companies that can provide goods or services at a consistently lower cost than their rivals are going to possess a powerful moat. And this will allow them to either undercut competitors in price, gaining more market share, or achieving even greater profit margins while selling at the same price as their rivals. So sources of cost advantage are going to include process innovation, economies of scale, distribution efficiencies, manufacturing prowess, privileged access to the low-cost resource base, and the typical examples here are always Walmart or Costco, because they have an immense purchasing power due to their huge scale that will allow them to negotiate significantly lower prices from their suppliers, which then they can pass on to the consumers. And this makes it incredibly difficult for smaller retailers to compete purely on price. So that is the second source of moat. The third one is going to be intangible assets. And those are going to be things like patents, government licenses or regulations, strong brands, or specialized IP that legally or emotionally will limit other firms from competing effectively.
Running a business comes with a lot of what ifs, but luckily there's a simple answer to them: Shopify. It's the commerce platform behind millions of businesses, including Thrive Cosmetics and Momofuku, and it'll help you with everything you need. From website design and marketing to boosting sales and expanding operations, Shopify can get the job done and make your dream a reality. Turn those what ifs into... Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/special offer.
Hey, the vibes are slipping. I think it's time to bring out the Velveeta shells and cheese. The holidays are a time to go all in on indulgence. Headline your meals with the rich, creamy meltiness of Velveeta shells and cheese and satisfy your holiday cravings like no other. Bring that main course energy to your side dish. Celebrate extra with Velveeta these holidays.
Patents, for example, are going to provide like legal monopolies for a period, encouraging innovation by compensating upfront costs. But strong brands can also be moats, for example, but they must do more than just be recognizable. They must attract customers and allow the company to charge a premium or maintain loyalty simply due to their brand. So brands that can increase a customer's willingness to pay through habit, emotional connection, trust, or social status. And Warren Buffett's favorite over here is Coca-Cola, because it's not just sugary water, it's an emotional connection. It's a company that has had over 100 years, and it's literally just selling sugar with water, but it has a taste profile. It has decades of marketing that allow it to charge a premium over other generic sodas. So this is going to be the third source of moats. The fourth one is going to be switching costs. Because switching costs are going to be expenses, which can be monetary or also just psychologically, that a customer will incur when changing from one product or service into another. And high switching costs will effectively be a way to lock in the customers into a product or service, making it painful or expensive to leave. And examples here, of course, are the leading software providers like Microsoft or Apple, let's say, because when you have a Mac, you really like that operating system of iOS. But if you have Microsoft and you are used to Windows, it will be painful to switch. So once a large corporation implements one of these two complex systems, the cost, the training required for the employees, the data migration, and potential disruption from switching is going to kind of lock them in. And this is going to be one of the sources of moat that we can see as well. The fifth and last one is going to be efficient scale. And this dynamic exists where there is a limited market size that can be effectively served by only one or a few companies. And incumbents are going to earn the economic profits, but potential competitors are disincentivized from entering because of the limited opportunity that would cause returns to fall below the cost of capital for players. So we can see in real life a lot of this efficient scale examples like a natural gas pipeline or all of the telco companies. That's why it's so hard for new entrants to come in, and most of the times all of the existing companies have a moat. So while all of these five sources can be powerful, empirical research also shows some very important insights. First, companies with multiple sources of competitive advantages will generally exhibit better fundamental performance and more durable moats than just those that have a single moat. Second, among the different potential sources, intangible assets like the brands or the patents have on average led to the best and most persistent fundamental performance. And I'm going to be creating an entire series of episodes about this type of technology innovation that's related to patents and stuff. But that's just a spoiler. When we come back to value investing, brands that have patents or just a very, very strong brand often create barriers of entry that are incredibly difficult to replicate. Third, the combination of intangible assets and cost advantage has consistently shown the best ROIC, ROE, and ROA. And so these are often the super modes. And I'll say it again, combination of intangible assets like brands and patents plus cost advantage. These are going to be the winner companies. And then, interestingly, the network effect is the source of moat with the least stability in fundamental performance because even though it's powerful when growing, networks can be disrupted or even lose relevance if they're not continually innovated upon. So this is going to be something important. Now, if we're thinking of what is not a moat, having dominant market share is not going to be a moat itself. It's usually a result of a function, but it's not a moat by itself. So you can say that because a company has a dominant market share, it has a moat. That's not correct. Having superior technology, if it's not patented, is also not going to be a superior advantage because technological advantages can be easily replicated or copied or quickly reversed engineered. So most technology innovations are fleeting without legal protection or deep integration into a network, and therefore they aren't considered as moats. The third one that isn't a moat is a easily replicable cost advantage. I was telling you that cost advantages in general are, but when you're just saving costs short term, this is not going to be a moat. And when we also see like a hot product or something that's very popular, this is also not going to be a moat. Many people think that when a popular toy appears, this company has a moat. No, it's not going to be because it's just like a trend. The last one that many people confuse with moats is great management. Even though smart managers can absolutely create or destroy a moat, great management alone isn't a moat. And as Warren Buffett famously said, when management with a reputation for brilliance tackles a business with reputation for poor economics, it is the reputation of the business that remains intact. And also, Charlie Munger often used to said, it's far better to buy a business that's so good that an idiot can run it, because sooner or later an idiot will run it. So great management, again, it's something very temporary. It's not a moat. I hope that this helps you understand a little bit what moats are, how to identify them, and how to not confuse them with other possible things that you might see in companies. But remember, moats are going to be something very, very, very important. And this is going to be more of the qualitative analysis that you're doing in the firm, not only the quantitative one. Because a company may have great financials, but if it doesn't have a moat, its competitor will be in the same position in 2 or 3 years. So it's not sustainable, and you shouldn't be investing on that company. That's why it's so important to highlight on this topic of moats. On my next episode, I'm going to start wrapping up all of the things that we should do by introducing something called market sizing. So make sure that you stay tuned for that episode. Also, give me a review if you like this episode, or tell me in the comments. And lastly, share it with a friend who also likes to learn about investing, because this will help me tremendously to reach more people globally by sharing all of my knowledge. I'll see you next week.